4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Record.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
A classic. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone! Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want your English to improve. My name is Rebecca. Sometimes as young people, we think that we're extremely wise and we don't need to listen to anyone else, right? However, is this really a wise thing to think? Well, I think we might find out in today's lesson. Our lesson is called The King Who Hated Old People. What kind of title is that? You're going to find out. And here are a few words that you're going to learn about today. The first is to be stuck in one's ways. That's something to look forward to learning about. And to gain wisdom. Friends, open up your magazines to today's lesson and let's begin. Come on.
The King Who Hated Old People. It is not always wise to ignore the advice of older people. Long ago, there lived a wise old king. The king always surrounded himself with elders to advise him in the decisions he had to make. His kingdom was wealthy. His people were happy. All was well, except that the king's son did not like seeing all the old people around the palace. "Why must you surround yourself with those white-haired men?" he asked. "They don't like to try new things." What really bothered him was that the old people reminded him that his father was aging.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章第一个重点，我们看 advise 这个动词。advise 是指建议或者是给出意见。至于这里的字尾的 se 是发 z 的音，念成 advise。例如 Marian's father advised her to pursue a career in writing. Marian 的父亲建议她可以往写作这个专业发展。或者是 The doctor advised Michael to quit smoking and do some gentle exercises. 医生建议 Michael 要戒烟，并且做一些温和的运动。它的名词是把字尾的 se 变成 ce， 变成 advice。注意 ce 是发死的音，念成 advice。例如 Jennifer took her hairdresser's advice and got a perm. Jennifer 接受了发型师的意见，烫了头发。接下来我们看的是 surround 这个动词。sur 这个字首有在什么之上的意思，所以 surround 是指围绕或包围。例如 Everyone surrounded Julie to look at her engagement ring. 大家都围绕着 Julie 抢着看她的订婚戒指。或者是 James sat in front of the TV surrounded by pizza boxes and pop cans. James 坐在电视机前面，身边围绕着披萨盒跟汽水罐。或者是 It's the police, you're surrounded. 警察，你们被包围了。它的名词是 surroundings， 是一个复数名词，意思是指周遭事物或生活环境。例如 The house blends in with its surroundings nicely. 这栋房子跟周围的环境非常融合。
So, the king who hated old people. It's very strange to me, Gabe, because that is the name of today's lesson. But in the opening section, I didn't see a king who hated old people. I saw a king that actually surrounded himself with elders to advise him.
That's a good point, Rebecca. Perhaps we haven't met the king who hated old people, or perhaps the king is actually referring to his son?
Oh, that's a possibility. Well, we see this phrase right here on the screen. to surround oneself with something. Well, in our lesson, this just means that when you surround someone or you surround yourself with someone, these are the people that you allow to come around you, kind of like your close circle.
And I think it's wise to surround yourself with smart people, surround yourself with wise people, surround yourself with people who will help you in what you're doing and not bring you down. What do you think about that, Rebecca?
I think, Gabe, you are very wise and make a really good point, because if you surround yourself with people who are going to tear you down or discourage you, you will get discouraged.
And I think this is a good thing for us to remind you and for you to remind your friends, because sometimes we just let life happen to us, and then some people just come into our lives and we don't think about the fact that maybe they complain a lot, maybe they're pretty negative, maybe they put you down, but all of a sudden they're in our lives, and we have to be intentional to surround ourselves with better people, people who will help us.
Exactly. Well, our lesson does say, long ago there lived a wise old king. The king always surrounded himself with elders to advise him in the decisions he had to make. His kingdom was wealthy. His people were happy. All was well, except what?
Well, except for his son, except that the king's son did not like seeing all the old people around the palace.
Gosh, what is his problem?
I know. What's his deal, right?
Yeah.
So his dad is wise, and he has a lot of wise elders who give him good advice. But of course, these elders are older, and his son doesn't like that.
I wonder why. Well, he asks a question. Why must you surround yourself with those white-haired men? He asked. They don't like to try new things. Okay, so his biggest concern, it seems like, is that he thinks that these older people are stuck in their ways.
Yeah, that's what he says here. They don't like to try new things. Perhaps they're stuck in their ways. Now, that phrase does not appear in our lesson, but it's a good one to know. What does it mean?
Well, if you are stuck in your ways, this means that you don't want to change or try other things. You're very content and happy doing what you are currently doing.
And sometimes this is okay if you're doing something good. If you have a good routine and you're stuck in your ways, it could be okay. But usually we use this in a negative way, right? We're talking about somebody maybe who has a bad habit. Justin has a terrible habit of smoking, and he is stuck in his ways. He just won't give it up.
Exactly. So it seems like the king's son thinks that these older gentlemen are stuck in their ways, and that does not make him very happy. Well, we read what really bothered him was that the old people reminded him that his father was aging. That's a little bit of a strange concern, I guess. But before we talk about that, there's a question that we would like to ask you or teach you, and that is, what's bothering you? Now, this is a question that you can use when it's obvious that someone isn't quite okay. Something seems to be on their mind, but they're not necessarily saying what it is.
Yeah, so maybe you notice that your friend is acting a little different, okay? They're not their normal self. So maybe they're usually happy and joyful, but now they seem quiet, maybe even a little sad. You could ask, hey, what's bothering you? Okay, or maybe your friend is usually the quiet, peaceful kind, but now they're acting really happy and joyful and a little bit strange. Then you could say, is something bothering you? Are you okay? What's bothering you?
Right. Those are two different types of questions that you can ask your friends. Is something bothering you, or what's bothering you?
And so if someone asked this prince that, then he would have said, well, what's bothering me is that all these old white-haired guys are reminding me that my own father is getting older.
So do you think that the real reason that this son didn't like older people is that he didn't want his father to get old?
No, actually, I think the real thing is maybe he thinks they don't like to try new things. I'm really not sure what this young prince is thinking, but I guess we're going to find out more in the next part of our lesson.
But right now, let's learn about how kings have long arms.
That's weird. Let's go to the info cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud. Rex, don't you enjoy coming to work at Studio Classroom every day, where we can teach English and meet students?
Yes, I do. It's just that I live pretty far away, so I have to drive for 45 minutes in order to get to work. It cost a king's ransom to live downtown, so we decided to live farther away.
A king is a very important person. Therefore, when a king is captured, his ransom is going to be quite large. So we use a king's ransom to describe a large amount of money.
Another saying that has to do with kings is, kings have long arms. You don't want to make a king unhappy, or else he will get you no matter where you run.
We say this to describe people that are very powerful and influential. His rich dad continued to control his life even after he went off to college. I guess kings have long arms.
当我们要形容一笔巨额的款项时，我们可以用 a king's ransom 来形容这笔钱有多大。Ransom 是赎金，当一位国王被俘虏了，你必须要花巨额的赎金来救他。因此 a king's ransom 是指很庞大的金额。例如 It cost a king's ransom to live downtown. 住在市中心的花费很庞大。另外一个和国王有关的用语是 Kings have long arms. 国王有长手臂。引申出来的意思是形容一个人很有权力和影响力。当你得罪了一位有权有势的人物，你就要当心了，因为 Kings have long arms. 不管你跑到哪里，他都能够找到你。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are learning about the king who hated old people. Now, so far in our lesson, we've met a wise king who surrounded himself with elders. Everything seemed to be going well, except the king's son didn't like these older gentlemen. Well, friends, let's see how the story is going to continue.
The king who hated old people. The king tried to tell his son how wisdom could be gained from the elders, but the son wouldn't listen. Things will change when I become king, he said. The king became ill and died, and the young prince took his father's place. As soon as the crown was placed on his head, he surrounded himself with youth. Everyone was forced to send their aged parents far away to live in other places. All over the kingdom, tears were shed, except for one young man.
OK， 继续我们看 crown 这个名词。crown 在这里是指皇冠或冠冕。例如 The crown was made of pure gold and decorated with rubies. 这个皇冠用纯金制成，上面装饰着红宝石。crown 也指冠军的宝座。例如 Roger Federer claimed his 8th Wimbledon crown at age 36. 罗杰·费德勒在36岁时第8次登上温布顿网球锦标赛的冠军宝座。crown 也可以当动词，意思是加冕或者是立某人为君主。例如 England's Queen Elizabeth II was crowned in 1953. 伊丽莎白二世在1953年被加冕为英国女皇。最后我们看的是 shed 这个动词 ，shed 是指流血或流泪。至于它的过去式、过去分词和原形的拼法都是一样的，都是 shed。例如 ，The father of the bride shed many tears at the wedding。新娘的父亲在婚礼时流下了许多眼泪，或者是 In the war, many soldiers shed their blood to guard their country。在这场战争中，许多士兵流血保卫他们的国家。Shed 也指脱落或去除，例如 Alice is determined to shed 10 pounds before her wedding. Alice 决心要在婚礼前要减去10磅的体重。And now let's get back to our teachers.
All right, so we're back to this king and his son. We read, the king tried to tell his son how wisdom could be gained from the elders. Before we continue on with the story, we want to talk about the phrase to gain wisdom. What does it mean if you gain wisdom? Well, it means that you become wiser by listening and seeking advice from other people.
That is definitely a great way to gain wisdom. So I agree with this older king who likes to surround himself with wise people because that is a great way to gain wisdom. Now, how do you gain wisdom? Another way that I gain wisdom, honestly, is by reading the Bible. I think there's a lot of wisdom in there, especially right in the middle are the Proverbs. And if you read a proverb every day, there are 31 proverbs. That's one time a month. If you read one chapter every day, you'll gain a lot of wisdom, I think.
Absolutely. But the son wouldn't listen. Who wouldn't he listen to? His father. Things will change when I become king, he said. Oh my goodness. This prince sounds a little bit cocky, in my opinion.
What? Cocky?
Cocky. Oh, yes. You don't see the word cocky here in the lesson. But cocky refers to someone who is overly confident, often rude, and quite unpleasant.
That's right. And sometimes we use this word cocky as a synonym for the word proud or arrogant, right? Someone who is really arrogant, we could say that's a cocky person. And I think an easy way to remember this word is to picture the animal peacock, right? Because a peacock is a very beautiful creature with those big tail, the feathers behind him, right? However, they like to show off those feathers as they walk around in kind of a cocky way.
Oh, you're right. But peacocks are beautiful. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I would say that the prince in our lesson is a little bit cocky, very arrogant, and he thinks things will change when he becomes king. We will find out. The king became ill and died. Oh, no. And the young prince took his father's place.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, that's what happened.
Man.
This doesn't seem like a good situation, right?
Well, he doesn't like to surround himself with good people.
So I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But before we find out, let's talk about this phrase to take one's place. This just means that you replace someone's position or you go in place of someone else.
Who's going to take your place when you leave? That could be a question you might ask somebody who's leaving your company. Well, some people leave. That's just a part of life. That happened here at Studio Classroom. Mm-hmm. Our friend Naomi left, but Brandon came in and took her place. And that happens all the time at a company. So here in our lesson, the king died and the young prince took his place, took his position.
As soon as the crown was placed on his head, he surrounded himself with youth, that is, young people. Everyone was forced to send their aged parents far away. Now, if you send someone away, this means that you make them go somewhere else.
That's right, and it's often done in kind of a negative way. You want them out of the picture, just somewhere far away. This phrase could also mean to fire someone in certain situations. So, for example, if you hired a maid, but you want to fire her, you might tell your son or daughter, well, we're sending her away. But either way, it's just not a nice picture, not a nice idea.
No, it's not. Well, all over the kingdom, tears were shed, except for one young man. Oh my, we're going to find out later what happens with him. Well, right now it's time for us to go to the SC Challenge.
All right, friends, for today's SC Challenge, who's playing with us?
Hi, everyone. I'm Linda, and I'm so happy to be here.
Hey guys, my name is Luke, and Linda, today's going to be fun. I'm going to beat you today.
Oh, no, you're going down, Luke.
What? Is that
It's a
why?
guarantee.
Is that why it's going to be fun? Because you're going to beat her?
He thinks he's going to beat me, but he's not.
Okay, great, excellent. This is the spirit I love in the Studio Classroom Challenge. Number 1. Okay, don't you love the name of the lesson, first of all? The King Who Hated Old People.
Yeah, that's a great title.
Okay, the king who hated old people. Number 1, why did the king surround himself with elders? Okay, so this is the first king. Why did he surround himself with elders? Number 1, they made delicious food. Number 2, they gave him good advice. Number 3, they had white hair. Or number 4, they told great stories. Wait, do that again?
I think I was first. I was definitely
Yeah,
first.
Linda
I
was
definitely
first.
They gave him great advice.
They gave him
Number 2.
great advice. Number 2, I should have said A, B, C, or D, but Linda is correct. It is 2 or B. They gave him good advice.
That's okay. All right, I got the next one.
1-0.
All right. Number 2, why didn't the prince like old people? A, they reminded him his father was aging. B, they liked to play too many games. You know, those old people. Number C,
Gabe, get your numbers and letters right.
C, they didn't know how to eat properly. Or D, they made him think about heaven.
I was first again. I'm pretty sure.
Actually, no, that
Yeah.
was Luke. That was Luke.
Thank you, Gabe.
Don't
Thank
replay
you.
it,
Okay,
but that
you
was
can
Luke.
have mercy on him.
So I think the answer is A, because it reminded him of his father aging.
Luke, you are correct.
You only said that because I was going to say that answer.
Nonsense.
It's nice that you guys both have 1 point right now. Okay.
That was a mercy point.
Number 3. What happened when the prince sent all aged parents away? A, kids rejoiced. B, parents died. C, students laughed. Or D, people cried. Oh, Linda?
D, people cried.
D, people cried. Our lesson says tears were shed. You are correct.
I knew it. I knew I would beat you, C.
All right. Well,
Next time. I got you next time.
That was a good competitive spirit today. Friends, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time for the SC Challenge. Yeah, it's a little bit strange. So he didn't like the old people who reminded him that his dad was aging. And yet, when his dad died, he was happy to send all of the other old people away?
Right, doesn't make any sense. And Gabe, there was that one man, he didn't shed any tears.
Yeah, what's up with that?
What's up with that?
I think there's only one way to find out. As usual, friends, you have to come back next time here to
Studio Classroom.
And we've got more for you then.
At all times, a friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.